Good afternoon, Petra. Welcome onto our podcast with Pitch to the Panther. And it's your pitch to the Panther that we're going to hear today. And more importantly, Petra Lawes is a certified health coach, women's health advocate, and health educator. I think I've said all of that in one breath. Well done, and welcome for joining us. A little bit about Petra. She's come from a senior health human resource executive, and I understand ships were involved and on land. However, her journey is what we're going to look at today and understand a little bit more. So, without further ado, now that Petra is an N certified health coach, we want to hear from her, not me. And let me just say, there's one thing that Petra has said to me that stuck in my mind, I should say. It's feel better tomorrow than you do today. Petra, please elaborate. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Krista, for having me to start with, and thank you for the lovely introduction. I do believe that it is to feel better than you do today because of the changes you can do today and your mindset and making the decisions. So that is how I lead my life and how I try to influence my clients' life. So you want me to go through my story? How
Please share your story with us.
how I got into the health and wellness field is always there's always a journey involved for all of us. And as you said, my background is in the corporate world. I was human resources executive. I built HR function on various cruise lines, which involved a lot of traveling, lots of moving around, lots of living in the suitcase. And then later on, I moved into to UK to continue my human resources career when the health challenges started to sort of shake my life, which I ignored. But there's always a beginning, and hence why I'm so passionate about talking about this health and wellness, and why I do what I do today. Because our body is very clever; it sends us the signs and signals all the time, which we, especially as women, we keep on putting them aside and not listening because we have so many roles, so many hats that wear all the time, and we don't have time to listen to those, and we always tend to put everybody else first except ourselves. So that happened to me as well. But looking back, why my health deteriorated so quickly is originating really back to my teenage years when I suffered from acne. And my mom was a retired nurse now, but she believed in Western medicine can resolve everything. They can, they're putting them down. They are great if you fracture a bone or for various things. But they
It has its
it
place, doesn't it?
absolutely
It has
has.
its place
It
in
absolutely
society.
has. But for me, they failed me various times. So my mom took me to dermatologist and they put me on continuous antibiotics to try to fix my skin without never once asking about my diet. So I was on high dose of antibiotics. As soon as I finished them, my skin problems came back with vengeance, reappeared all the time until she decided to put me on this horrific what I know now it's absolutely horrific Roacutan, which is this sort of isotretinoin which is used to treat severe acne, and it comes with a host of side effects which I was obviously unaware. I was about 15 at the time. The alarm bell should have really sounded when I had to get regular liver and kidney function blood tests. Needless to say, that it had a huge negative impact to my physical and also my mental health at the time. When I look back, I was always a happy-go-lucky child, and all of a sudden I started to feel really sad. And then now looking back, it totally makes sense because it went hand in hand with this thing. And now knowing what I know, all these medicines and the Roacutan and the antibiotics, they have huge effect on our gut. So obviously, I was thrilled that the acne was gone, but it came with other side effects which were horrible. I remember, for example, my hands were so dry that they were actually bleeding, and that's just one of the side effects. I didn't know about my gut at the time, but I hear time after time when I tell this story now, people are like, "Oh, really? Antibiotics?" But those are powerful drugs, which, yes, they have their place in this world when we are dealing with severe infections and all that. But that was quite, we were treating my face, which was not a severe infection. And if the doctor would have asked my diet, we would have been able to cross this path without any of these drugs. But sadly, they are still prescribed, and they really destroy the gut for teenagers, where the serotonin, which is the happy hormone, is produced. So they start my journey at the age of 15, and I was on them for almost 2 years, on and off. So only, like I said, if the only once had asked what I was eating, if I only knew that I had severe lactose intolerance and gluten intolerance at the time, I wouldn't have experienced any of those issues at all. But then again, it led to me to do what I do today.
So, on that note, Petra, that is amazing. And I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. So now we're all about health, we're all about diet, we're all about eating correctly. And in terms of what one soundbite could you give to anyone listening, especially the women on this? Because women, we are very special creatures. Men, you're even more special to us, but women, we're special. So just explain a little bit how we can help ourselves today, right now, so that we can feel better
The
tomorrow.
best thing, like I said before, is to listen to signs and signals our body is trying to give us. It's not just putting them aside and putting them aside. It's the preventive maintenance, as I call it. If we pay attention and listen to the signs and signals our body is giving us, we can prevent what is there maybe down the line. For example, the gut issues, which for me developed then during the years, very severe. The skin, which was the sign that was getting inflamed. Then later on, it followed me throughout my life until I realized that I have a severe lactose intolerance. But later on, I went back to the doctors, and they gave me pill, and I was on a pill for unnecessarily, just to treat my skin. But again, if I took some time and did some digging and did some research, and as I then ended up healing myself from severe hormonal imbalance and the gut inflammation and adrenal fatigue and everything, which was originating probably from my teenage years, I wouldn't have got into the crashing point where I could not literally get out of bed because I had no energy. I was feeling so ill. I was in pain. So if I took those signs and signals seriously, I wouldn't have got so bad. But then again, every single a cloud has a silver lining, because now I will be able to help women who are probably not on the crashing point, but help them to recognize these signs and signals, and hopefully help them to fix these problems, and attend to these problems before they get out of hand.
Brilliant. No, I want to thank you for taking the time out to explain to us some really important things there. So, listen to our bodies, watch out for anything that's not normal. So, we're tired, we're fatigued. Most of all, get ourselves checked regularly, which is probably something none of us do. I'm a great advocate of checking your bloods at least once a year to see where you
Absolutely.
are. Your hormone balance is so key to the rest of your life. And yes, if we actually take some time to deep dive, learn about these things, Petra's your girl to find out more. And thank you again for your time and for being on this podcast with me. Take care for now until next time.